Okay, so when it comes to caulking, you just want to get the matching silicone that matches your grout. Now I'm going to be using epoxy grout in this shower, so I'm going to be using the Lattice-Sil. So this stuff is really awesome. This is my favorite silicone, honestly, and it's actually my favorite grout, primarily because it's going to be stain resistant. And if you're doing white, I definitely highly recommend spending the extra money and getting some good grout. But if you want to silicone all of your corners, now I will mention before I even do this, I've done a lot of epoxy. I've never had a crack in the corners. I'm only primarily using the silicone just to basically demonstrate how you do it in case you use a different type of grout. But also this is the TCNA standards. You should always use silicone in all of your movement joints. But in my experience, living up here in Pittsburgh, I guess it depends on the environment that you're in, but I've never had an epoxy grout crack. So you could probably most likely caulk, or grout all the corners and have no issues. But if you want to do it by standards, use the Lattice-Sil, use the silicone in all those joints. So here's the order of operation with the caulking. I would advise doing all of your horizontal surfaces first, mainly because you're going to be using like a caulk spray, or what I like to use is just regular Windex with vinegar to spray over the joint. And if you have anything wet, you're not going to be able to get a good caulking joint. It basically will not allow this to adhere to a wet surface. So if you do all your horizontal surfaces first, spray those down, make them nice, then you can go and do your verticals. And if you get any spray on the horizontals, it won't really matter. So I would recommend doing all your horizontal surfaces first and then work on your vertical seams. So we're just going to cut this about 3/16 of an inch. So we got like a little bit of probably a 30-degree cut on that. And it's best just to keep it small at first, because you can always make it a bigger joint. But really what you're looking for is just getting something that's going to fill the joint, not overfill it, and be able to make it easy to caulk. There we go. So again, everything has to be clean, no water standing anywhere in these corners. And then we'll just go ahead and fill the joint. And what's nice being able to do this before grout is that you're not going to smear over the grout joints. If it gets into the grout, cavity there, it's not going to really matter. So I think that really makes it nice. And just more stress-free. Just makes it a lot easier. Yeah, silicone does not like anything wet or water. So before you spray anything, I would just definitely caulk the entire horizontal surface here. So you can see here, I just let go of that. There's no silicone coming out of that tube. So that's what's great about the drip free. It truly is that, it's drip free. Nothing's coming out of the gun. Okay, so then now you can just take your spray and just spray that joint. Don't worry about how much you're actually putting on there. It's just going to help you keep it from smearing. And then we'll just take our little tool off of here. Now I can just put full pressure onto that tile. And you can go over that as many times as you need to. And you don't even have to worry about any of that going into the grout joint. It's just a nice seam, and once you grout right into that, you'll be in good shape. Okay, so again, we'll do the, since this is a horizontal surface, you want to do that first. Go ahead and do the verticals now. Okay, so gotta check out my little newborn pocket Slix, so you can see all the different variety of sizes. Let's go with the smallest one. Just press the button, slide this in, so this gives you a nice, basically a spatula caulking tool.
It's like Revenge of the Nerds. The pocket protector.
So yeah, I can see how much I'm taking off of there. And keep in mind, anything that you actually do get in the actual grout joint, you can just cut out tomorrow before you grout. So if you have an excess amount going in there, then you can just remove it tomorrow. But honestly, it's that little bit there is not going to be a big deal. But it certainly makes it a lot easier, because now you're not even have to be even worried about any of the silicone being smeared on the actual grout joint, which can look really awful. It's not so bad with white. White's pretty easy. I mean, it's pretty forgiving. But when you get into different colored grouts, that's, you know, a lot of it doesn't match. So then you can really see any bit of silicone on your grout joint. So all right, we'll just leave it at that. Down. You know, you have to gauge your tool off of the actual surface that you're using the silicone. So, you know, if you have a rough surface or you have a million different joints like this one does, you know, the flexible plastic actually does a lot better job. Okay, so then up at the ceiling, now you can use silicone if you want to, but you have to be very, very precise, because if you get silicone on the ceiling, then you can't paint it. So what I really like to use is this Quad Max. This is OSI Quad Max. And I really like this stuff because it's paintable and it's pretty white. So you'll be able to paint that joint the same as the flat white ceiling. So that's what I'm going to do for the ceiling. And again, this could be done, you know, either way. It could be done after the tile or before the tile. But again, this is going to solve the same issue of not basically smearing on the grout joints if you do this first. But what's nice about this is that you can paint it the same color as the ceiling, and that it's a poly sealant, so it's not going to crack. Because I often see if you try to grout this joint, there's a good chance it will crack because the flexibility between the drywall and the tile, especially if you're on a second floor or, you know, there's a floor above you, the movement of the floor above will definitely crack this. So you need to caulk this if you want this to look good for a long time. Now, I mean, if you're doing like a black grout or something like that, then you probably are going to want to caulk this so that everything looks right at the ceiling. But with a white grout, this is going to work out pretty well. And we'll just do the same thing here. Spray that whole ceiling joint. Sometimes not putting too much pressure on that joint actually works out better than completely pressing against with a tool. I'm just looking for a nice clean line. It doesn't really matter what tool gets you there, just as long as it gets you there. All right, so that'll do it. Definitely, what do you think, half the time that would take if it was already grouted? So you definitely save half the time. It's just the cost of coming back here and doing it that day, you know, like having a day time before you start grouting can be tough. But if you manage it so that you're putting in your vanity and your outside trim or something, putting in your toilet, caulk this and then grout it. And the grouting could be done, you know, the final day of the bathroom. Obviously the shower doors are going to take a while to come in. So, you know, if you just time this correctly, this will save you labor in the end because the grouting is just going to be really quick and easy now. Oh, do you think we should do that niche? Or do you think we should have like a grout that?